I guess I just want to address the issue of some of the leaders that some of our leaders, from supervisory to managers to sometimes executives, they're good technically. That's why they got promoted. But we did not learn any leadership or people skills from school. Even up to now, I was checking the children of my friends or colleagues. Like, there's still no people management courses in college or in high school. So we leadership is not something we have learned in school. And even those I've talked to some degrees now who provide leadership, it's theoretical. And leadership is a war zone because people are messy and relationships are messy. But we're now in a sense in society, in life, we're in wartime. The best heroes are forged in challenging season, sorry. And if you want to be the best leader that you can be, now is the best time to be a leader. Because when there is chaos and you bring people out of chaos because you're a good human being, then that's what's going to make you a leader. I guess the most powerful skill that leaders can embrace right now is the skill of listening.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Leader's Edge. It is our first season of season 13, and we have today our very special guest. He is a motivational speaker, a podcast host, and he is also a lay preacher from the Catholic charismatic group called The Feast. He is a best-selling author, and he's here with us to talk about one of his books. It is entitled How Underdogs Can Become Overcomers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the virtual stage, JPaul Hernandez.
Thank you, Sylvia, for having me. Good day, leaders. It's such an honor to be with co-leaders. I guess even if we're not facing each other, what I feel is that I'm not alone. And I think that's the challenge of leadership. You feel so alone. So when I actually listen to podcasts, it's mostly, if it's not about my faith, it's mostly about leadership, because as a leader leading different people, different areas of your life, it's such a daunting task to bring people from point A to point B, and with everything that's happened or happening the last few years, it's so good to be with leaders. So I'm so inspired and excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this day, and I hope I can share something to help you become a better leader in what you do.
Thanks, J Paul. Actually, aside from just the leaders, I think your topic is very essential for mentors,
Mhm.
those who handle people, even professors or teachers, those in the academy who need to motivate their students. I think
Yeah.
your topic is very relevant. I'm curious, what made you or what inspired you to write about this topic? Were
Yeah,
you an
love.
underdog?
Yeah, exactly. Because when I was growing up, family life was not perfect. It's was quite rocky. What I had going on, what I held on to as a young kid from. So I think 8 years old onwards was I was a student athlete. I played football a lot.
Mhm.
And I was playing for the team, grade school and part of high school. But then along the way, aside from bad grades, my doctor found out that I was born with one kidney. And playing football, like the soccer, for those who are not familiar with the European football, it's the soccer in America. Um, they said that, your sport is quite physical. It's so the contact is so much. So what the challenge is, because you have one kidney, a lot of hits can be hard for your kidney to process the clotting, and then you might die, and a lot of things. So I was pushed out of the team because the grades was bad and because of the medical reasons. And then I started sulking. I self-pity. I was like, really, my subconscious thought, my self-talk was, I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me. And if there's something wrong with me, my life, because there's nothing good about me. So that was my self-talk. I mean, it's easier to talk about now because I've been counseled and coached many times, mentored as well. So, but then that's it. So I was, in the wrong crowd, drinking, partying, becoming a bad influence from high school to college onwards. And then one time, I think my mom was listening to something or reading something, and she was learning from John Maxwell, and I got interested. And that's nice, because I realized at the young age I have some influence. I can influence people wrongly. So I had some leadership and sales skills or speaking skills. So there, I was interested in John Maxwell. Started searching more about, not no la, internet was not that good yet, but looking for books or whatever. Then after college, I found out that there's a guy named Bo Sanchez. Like, what? You can do that? Like, being a speaker here in the Philippines. So then my mind was shifting, and I started looking for purpose. Because at that time I was just like, what can I do? What kind of job can I do to provide for my lifestyle? Very millennial, very selfish. That was just in my head. Then I started searching for purpose, started looking for my passion. What was I really gifted at? So I had a good career, good job, and slowly took a risk and started looking for clients. Got into debt. Why? Because, hey, just because you want to have a business or a passion project doesn't mean everything will fall into place. The world does not revolve around that. So all those things, and slowly, I was introduced. I just kept on doing what I what I loved, while making ends meet. And slowly, the right opportunities came, and now I'm here, as an author, speaker, doing what I do, doing ministry as well. So it's a very colorful journey. And that's when I realized it's the underdogness. It's 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 your mindset. It starts with the mindset. It's how you think of yourself, and you allow the treatment of others based on what you perceive your worth is. And then you destroy yourself or make yourself better based on how you saw yourself. So again, it's mindset, self-talk. So when you shift that, you can actually realize, I'm not actually an underdog. I'm just underachieving. And actually, I can overcome whatever hurdles are in front of me.
So if you had to talk to your 8, maybe 13-year-old self, based on your book, would you what advice would you give yourself then?
I mean, if I was going to talk to my younger self, I would just say life is so beautiful. Because I was at 13 years old, there was darkness. The mental health um, movement was not yet popular. Everything, self issues were all frowned upon when I was growing up, and they would just say you're a bad kid. No, I was going through a bad season of my life, so it was really dark. Yeah, and again, I cannot but be grateful for the people who came along. That my success is not because I'm so good or handsome, but it's all because of people helping me get better in life.
So JPaul, you mentioned earlier that um, as a child, let's not mention the decade, growing up when mental health issues weren't really openly discussed. I think the book right now is relevant because we're coming out of a pandemic, and there are issues, underlying issues that people ignore, or maybe the effects of the pandemic, the post-traumatic stress is just coming out right now because people are going back to the workplace, going back to school, trying to restart their lives. If if I want to, if I identify myself as an underdog, how will this book help me?
All right. Thank you. Love that segue. So here's the book. It's a yellow book. Um, one of my I'll share three chapters. One of my favorite chapters. It starts the first chapter. It's called Hero's Journey. So in every popular story, beautiful story, there's a hero's journey. The hero goes through, a season of journeying, and they question themselves, and then they have retribution. And I guess what the problem is, especially for Asians, um, we are our we are the villain of our own story. We cannot see that we're actually the hero of our own story, or even sometimes we are actually just bystanders. We see ourselves a bystander of our own story, or robots, but not that hero. For example, my favorite book or movie franchise, Lord of the Rings. So we cannot see ourselves as Gandalf, Aragorn, or Frodo. We see ourselves as somebody just on the side because we're afraid for the attention, and we feel we're not good enough, or we feel that we're not worthy. So it's really embracing your journey wherever you are, how old you are. We are always in a pilgrim journey of life. Next chapter here in the book. It's called Problems Give Purpose. And and the best things in life come out because of problems. It's not when you have the most money. The most creative process happens when there's a time limit, there's a challenge. So when you have problems, it's actually a stepping stone to success. So I remember one of my mentors said to me, because I failed the business plan, project, and my business mentor said, JPaul, congratulations, you just paid for your tuition fee. Your failure is now tuition fee. Now you know better. Just don't pay a lot of tuition fees in life. So then it's like the problems, oh, this doesn't work. So for example, I was one time I wanted to be rich fast. So I tried a business project, and I was rushing. And guess what? The best things in life take time. So that problem made me realize that, yeah, that's not for me. That's not how you do it. And recently, I actually closed down one business this January 2023. It's a logistics business because I was just crazy. Started a business pre-pandemic with my brother. Hey, why don't we start a logistics business for fun? To expand what we're doing. And the pandemic was really hard. Uh, and we decided, hey, maybe this is not for us. We learned what we learned. We're gonna finish it and then move back to where we're really strong at. So that means, oh yeah, actually the problems may remind you, hey, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What's your space in life? What's your path? So it is a very expensive tuition fee that I'm still paying for. But yeah, I mean, if there's a leader or somebody in the workforce who have failed, guess what? You're not alone. And I guess the last chapter I want to share about is called Faith It Until You Make It. So I think what's the popular idea now is fake it until you make it. But if you fake it, then that's not good, because when you keep faking yourself, you lose your identity. But if you faith it, you hold on to your purpose, your belief, something higher than yourself, and you just keep walking and walking. I think the problem, especially in this season of life right now, we're always in a hurry. We're in a hurry to succeed, and we don't want to go through the process. So, for example, I work out a lot. I work out 4 to 5 times a day. A week, sorry, not a day. That's crazy. I work out 4 to 5 times a week, and so I can deadlift about 350 pounds. And somebody asks me, how? I want to do that. And I said, then you have to show up. You have to be okay to carry the light stuff. You have to endure the discipline, the failure, the hardship, the embarrassment, the humility, and the training. And a lot of people just want the idea of the video being videoed. Oh, I can carry 350 pounds of barbell, but they don't want to show up when nobody's looking and you're crying and you're hurting because, oh, I'm having a hard time in the gym today. I'm not motivated. I don't want to do this right now. People don't want that. People just want the highlight reels in social media. The posting of the grades of your kids or whatever, or I went to the US, or oh, I'm in the picture with the Eiffel Tower or whatever highlights. But they're afraid of the behind the scenes, because in the behind the scenes, whatever you do there, that's what makes you great. That's what makes you truly successful in your endeavor. And so why do I work out? Because I want to be speaking and coaching until I die. And hey, guess what? What's one of my problems? I was born with one kidney. I can't slack off. Other people can, but I can't. I have to work extra harder, not just in the mental side of it, but also in the physical side, because I want to be speaking on stage, off stage, online when I'm 90 years old. As long as I can write and speak, I'll be doing it. But if I'm sick, if I'm not okay, like I can't stand up because I'm sick, my body's falling apart, then I'll be doing a disservice to myself. So how do you overcome? You first take care of yourself. You become a better version of yourself, because the best version of yourself is the person that can help others succeed as well. And really, the best success in life is helping others get there better, helping others succeed as well, because as leaders, we don't want to be alone. And maybe you're not, maybe some of you are leading 100 people or one person. Everyone's leading someone. Is it either leading yourself or a person you love? So in a sense, we're all leaders, but how can you lead if you're not leading yourself to a better life?
Wow. That is such a, those are words of wisdom that everyone can live by. But then if you said that you have to faith it, faith, Faith, that's faith it until you make it. Then how can we as people from this generation have or maintain that kind of faith when we have uh so many factors that surround us, that are part of our environment, people, technology, materials, the physical workplace. So you have uh, physical, emotional, and spiritual considerations when you want to overcome barriers, when you
Yeah.
want to become an overcomer, not just somebody who used to be an underdog. Because, for example, if for example, I've been in the work in the workforce for around 25 years, and then you
You look
now
you look like you're newly grad.
wow, that's, thank you, John Paul. How can I, a Gen Xer, move with the times or flow with the times when we have, for example, AI, we have Chat GBT joining the workplace. So suddenly I'm a dinosaur because I do
Mm.
it the old school way. In most cases, leaders, there are there are different kinds of leaders. There are leaders who are old school, and then there are leaders who are trailblazers. They are the ones who get ahead because they harness the latest technology, they harness the people the right way. But then there's a big gap in between. How
Mm.
can how can people who work in a multi-generational workforce, for example, in the workplace, there are the traditional guys, Gen Xers, And then you also have millennials, Gen Zs who have different communication styles and different ways of appreciating or different work ethic. How can overcoming uh, these obstacles to become successful? How can you overcome it when you have so many factors? I mean, AI is both exciting and scary at the same time. Won't you agree?
Yeah. I love it. I love the complicated question.
Sorry.
No problem. I guess I mean, I can share something that I went through a few years ago, far from the social media world. So I was working for a consulting company, one of a big consulting company, and we were doing a business process review, for the accounting department, and then basically starts with the business process review and a lot of other projects, and the end product is we will lay off accountants who are not embracing the system because they had to automate already because they're multi branches and all of these things. So we had to make sure, so we had to check the process, what the future process will be, and who are more open to embracing it, who can lead, etc., etc. It was a very depressing project.
It's downsizing a
Yeah,
company.
yeah, but
Downsizing is never,
yeah, but
yeah.
that's how I grew up early. I guess, so I was not the academic intelligent person, but I guess what made me, this is a side story. My bosses, I think, saw something in me that I was good with people.
Mm.
So even if I was not the most academic person, I would be in charge at, I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, I guess mid 20s. I was reporting to the executives of our findings, our solution, our suggestions. So it really made me grow up. And it's that openness, it's knowing what you're good at, I guess. And then from there, jumping and maximizing what your strengths are and weaknesses are. And that's how I was able to also build my career now. And and to relate it, for example, in AI, I used to spend like hours and hours to research an idea, an article to present when I'm doing training, all of these things, or writing a book. But now I use Chat GPT. So if you go to my LinkedIn, can I share something? When you go to my LinkedIn or my Facebook public page, I do a lot of write-ups. I do so what I do is I just, I have meditated and reflect some thoughts. So what I do is I have a generic idea or an idea that I just jotted down. So then I copy and paste it to Chat GPT and then ask, can you improve this idea? Or can you make it more engaging? Whatever the prompt that I want it to be. And it does it, and then I paste it. It's still my idea, and then Chat GPT is like money or credit cards. It's a tool. It can be a tool for good or a tool for bad. It's up to you. But the point is, people who uses the evolution of mankind or who succeeds as a society is based on who embraced the tools for improvement better or faster. So that's how I do it. And I just, as I said, you said earlier, I'm a lay preacher. So I just came from the Holy Land. I was leading a pilgrimage, and it's so beautiful. And now we're preparing. This is very crazy. We're using Chat GPT to help us with next year's itinerary.
Oh, wow.
That's how crazy it is. So now, it's making life so much easier. Uh, but because I have an open mind, because what I've learned, and I've learned this from Brother Bo Sanchez, that everything else is adaptable. Everything else can change in an instant. Everything else is temporary.
Mhm.
How you do things can change. Why you do things should never change.
Oh,
And relationships, are more important than things. People are more important than things. And no matter how high-tech we become as a society, because we're living, breathing humans, our values never change. There's a certain human set of values, whether you're a Christian, Catholic, Muslim, Hindu, there's a certain set of these values that hold society together, of being charitable, kind, compassionate, being hungry for learning. If you embrace this, of course, I am Catholic and I love my Catholic faith, but you have as a person to understand humanity first, become a better human, and embrace the values of becoming human. And then from there, you can faith it until you make it.
So, JP, you're a very young leader, you're a motivational speaker, and based on what you share, you have overcome your fair share of obstacles, and people go to you to seek your advice, to get you as a motivational speaker, or for you to mentor them, enable to prepare them for the next chapter of their careers. I would also say that you are actually somebody young people should listen to, especially those who are about to enter the workforce, because the I think there are many misconceptions about work versus a job, and the motivation should be clear to them at the start. It's not just to earn more because you've been there, and you are the perfect example of how they can better prepare themselves to become more efficient at work without sacrificing their values, their beliefs. As a way to end our conversation, would what message do you have for two sets of people, for the leaders? Can you what can you share with them in order to to be able to handle their people better? There are leaders who sometimes struggle with common issues, work related issues, but it's really the relationship which they need to hear from you based on what you shared today. And then the second will be for those who are struggling to overcome their being underdogs, whether you are a manager who handle people who are difficult to work with, or maybe somebody who will enter a new workplace and you're preparing yourself for the new work environment, for the new position, and the new the work processes and the people. So how about the leaders? What will your message be?
Love it, Sylvia. Thank you. I really enjoyed your questions and discussing with you. Sorry, I talk a lot. We're trainers. So I guess I just want to address the issue of some of the leaders that some of our leaders, from supervisory to managers to sometimes executives, they're good technically. That's why they got promoted. But we did not learn any leadership or people skills from school. Even up to now, I was checking the children of my friends or colleagues, and there's still no people management courses in college or in high school. So we leadership is not something we have learned in school. And even those I've talked to some degrees now who provide leadership, it's theoretical. And leadership is a war zone because people are messy and relationships are messy. But we're now in a sense in society, in life, we're in wartime. The best heroes are forged in challenging season, sorry. And if you want to be the best leader that you can be, now is the best time to be a leader. Because when there is chaos, and you bring people out of chaos because you're a good human being, then that's what's going to make you a leader. I guess the most powerful skill that leaders can embrace right now is the skill of listening. Sit down, listen, and learn how to bite your tongue. Especially when you feel you're right. You're probably right. But what people need now are leaders who listen. So just listen. And when you feel like, you know, correcting somebody, just bite your tongue or eat something. And then you'll be surprised. The gift of listening will, you may not even solve the problem, but when your staff or people you lead felt they're heard, they will solve the problem for you. It's crazy. The world thinks we live in a hustle culture. You want something to happen, you actually have to do more. Not all the time. There's a space when you just have to take a step back, sit down with people and listen to their stories, listen to their ideas, and see. I guess then now for the underdogs who are like me or feel like they can relate, when God made you, he did not see a mistake. He saw a masterpiece. And what you think is wrong with you is something that will make you unique. And I can't believe that I never get tired of saying this. Dreams come true. That's it.
So, to our viewers who are anxious about the future, about trying a new line of work or entering a new office or a new work environment, go for it. Because when you see yourself as somebody, as JPaul said, somebody who's a master, and you have to bring that with you wherever you go. Because when your new workmates see that, then they will feel it. And then they will see that you are a very valuable member of the team. So it has to come from you. JPaul, is there anything that is coming up in the woodwork? Like, do you have a public seminar which we could join so that we can hear more of those stories, be motivated by your experiences?
Yeah, to be very clear, I was actually talking to Miss Dina of Speakers Bureau, and I was just saying, Miss Dina, I want to learn more how to do public events. If you can mentor me, because all my life, all my speaking career or coaching career has been in the corporate realm, and that's not enough anymore in a sense because the world is changing, so I have to adapt. So it's actually I'm embracing slowly the public seminar space. I'm really navigating it. I'm in my head. What we're praying for and preparing is career retooling, helping people find their career purpose. It's still very mushy, but we're meditating, writing, researching. Hopefully, we can really at least my dream. Really, I'll be very honest with you, Miss Sylvia and Speakers Bureau. It brings me to tears. My dream is to help Filipinos become world class, to help Filipinos succeed, that hey, the world will see Filipinos are actually good. We're actually talented. We can make the world a better place. And one of the reasons why I do this, even if it's sometimes crazy because you won't win a Nobel Prize for this or whatever, but then that's my purpose. So that's why I'm doing it. I'm learning again. I'm in that season of learning again how to do public stuff. I'm writing a book. It's about how to overcome the effects of COVID, not just COVID, but everything that happened in the last 3 years. So hopefully I'm gonna be done by the Burr months, because I'm actually now, as we're interviewing, I'm actually in finals week of my master's. So it's
Oh,
crazy. So but I'm happy. I'm happy about doing it. So yeah, I started the year, as I said, closing a business, but now, realizing it was actually good because it was consuming my time, like 100 hours of my mind and worry a week because of so many problems. But then when we closed it opened so many doors, and then realized that, hey, there's so many options in this world. So because of the business problems, I was ungrateful for my masters. I was ungrateful for the opportunities. I was ungrateful for a lot of things. So here I am. So we don't have a public yet, but I'm just sharing with you, being very vulnerable and real with where I am going. So hopefully you can just visit my pages, JPaul Hernandez, and JPaul Hernandez on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and we do now TikTok. So all of
wow.
these things. So yeah, so hope to connect with you there. And so at least what I'm doing now is personal development coaching. That's the public thing I'm doing from word of mouth. So if you want, if I can coach you on personal development, just send me a message, and would love to help you out and help you retool your life and career.
Wow. Thank you, J. Paul. And for our listeners, our viewers, don't forget, we're going to post a link to his social media pages so that you can get in touch with him. In the meantime, we are grateful that you were able to spend this time with us. We learned so much from you, J. Paul, and we look forward to your public engagements and to that book. Hopefully, we will be able to invite you back for another chat about that book. In the meantime, we're going to, I guess, a lot of the things that we learned today with J. Paul is that the key takeaways is really when you know your identity, because he did say that you have to recognize yourself as a magnificent creation of God. When you know that you are a wonderful creation, then you can overcome all obstacles. You can go from being um, an underdog to an overcomer, regardless whether you're in the workplace or in school or maybe at home. A lot of the things that we experience is really a cycle. You overcome it, and then sometimes you, just as J. Paul said, he's not even he went through challenges, and it's part of life. So a lot of the times that I'm glad, J. Paul, that we were able to have this brief chat. Being a young leader, we need to hear those things from you. So don't fear technology, don't fear the change, just embrace it, as we said. So as we learned so many things today, remember that learning is a journey of limitless feedback. Join us in our next episode. We're going to talk to Miss Ruby Hausham. She will talk about what is her topic, talent engagement in a hybrid workplace. So join us again. Thank you, J. Paul, and good day.